Ladies and gentlemen, moving on, now I'd like to welcome Karthikeyan Natarajan, Chair, ER&D Council and COO, Science, to set the context for the event and give us a flavor of what is in store. As Science Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer, Karthik manages global operations and plays a key role in driving the company's transformation from a services to a solutions provider. He leads the go-to-market, including sales and marketing and delivery transformation efforts across major industries, along with digital solutions and design-led manufacturing. Pleasure to have you here with us. Karthik, over to you.
A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Welcome to the 13th edition of NASSCOM Design and Engineering Summit. I'm so excited as part of ER&D Council, being the chair, and a proud member of this inclusive and ever-expanding community of innovators, thinkers, designers, and leaders. I've always looked forward to the opportunity to be part of this forum over the last decade and a half. We are virtually at it again. I'm sure that most of us didn't predict that we would be doing a summit again in a virtual format this year. But this forum is now an ode to the resilient spirit of the Indian ER&D industry. We have navigated through the most challenging times in the last 15 months, but our beliefs and efforts prevailed. Our dream to be a $100 billion industry by 2030 stands on a solid ground, with investments in our industries touching a whopping $32 billion already. This decade has witnessed disruption enabled by time to market, digital-led innovation, and sustainability, and many more things to come. The demand is driving these developments, which is done in the past, or essentially now the engineering and R&D is back on the main stage. We are embarking on the decade of the century, a decade of technology where tech innovation will redefine and reimagine the way we live, work, and play. Pivotal for next century. Wonder why this is truly the decade. The biggest wave of electric vehicles to hit the market. 2/3 of new vehicles that will be sold in this decade will be electric. This is happening after 125 years. Demand for next 5 years would be led by sustainability and digital, whether it is ESG, intelligent transport, future of urban mobility. Urbanization will need to rethink cities to reduce congestion, and renewable integration to grid, and energy anywhere, energy flowing in both directions. Urban air mobility will be mainstream by 2025, whether you may call it as drones or air taxis. Pandemic has proven work can be done remotely, and the communication will be the backbone. Therefore, hyperconnectivity will be very key to connect the farthest corner of the nation across and to enable livelihoods back to suburban and rural areas, connecting the buyers to sellers. Yes, we see it already, and we have barely scratched the surface of this. All this is leading to a pace of innovation like never seen before. The convergence of ideation and innovation, many of the concepts showcased in the past, will become a reality soon. Space innovation. Out of 3,000 satellites which are active today, 1,500 of them were put in the orbit in the last 18 months. And you'll be surprised to see by end of this decade, we'll see more than 30,000 of them. Imagine every centimeter of the Earth will be mapped, and future of automated vehicles will be made possible with the mammoth scale of data processing that is going to be required. Probably I'm told that you need 3 million plus people required to manage to process this data, which is not humanly possible. You need some kind of an automated system led by AI and cloud. We have pivoted at not just engineering in India, engineering the next from India for the world, with the world, for an inclusive and sustainable future that celebrates open innovation, delivered by a fluid workforce by digital enterprises. The inaugural edition of NASSCOM Engineering and Innovation Excellence Awards 2021 witnessed the spirit of innovation from India. And it was not limited to just the industry innovators. It celebrated the spirit of resilient, inclusive, the frugal innovation from far corners of the country. There were inspirations galore, from a heartwarming story of a 14-year-old Amar Prajapati starts LED company to provide jobs to villagers during lockdown, and to the breakthrough device Cytotron, capable of stopping spread of cancer cells. From innovating for social impact with portable RT-PCR kits by Cyient, or creating world-class innovations from organizations like TCS, Infosys, HCL, Wipro, LTTS, KPIT, and multinational organizations like Bosch, Philips, GE, winning solutions and products for better healthcare, better mobility, and better future of humanity. Continuing the purpose of sustainable, inclusive, and responsible innovation, we have identified 4 themes that will encompass all our conversation at the summit this year. To start with, research, innovation, and co-creation. We need to focus on R in the ER&D, IP protection, open innovation, building capabilities, and the backup partnerships. We can only achieve these goals together. The second theme is on digital enterprise. This is built on intelligent products and services, supply chains that are secured, protected, and offers product innovation that can transform the industries of tomorrow. Third, rebuilding the talent landscape. I've spoken about 100 billion vision. This cannot be achieved unless we get ready with future of talent. Building capability for the future talent pool to address close to 6 million digital workers gap by adding 2 million ER&D workforce. And this is the kind of demand that we are seeing today. Can India fill this gap by nurturing the talent and looking at encouraging gig workers, women in technology leadership, diversity in workplace, and designing future of work around by hybrid modeling? For us to get to 100 billion, if you're able to get million people from ER&D, million people from digital to start working on it, we'll get to our 100 billion vision. Last but not the least, enabling sustainability and building a circular economy. Rethinking with a purpose, product lifecycle thought through, design to consumption, process and systems to be redesigned and remodeled to accelerate the 2050 sustainable goals. The time is now to address it, probably 15 years ahead of it. We have outstanding speakers, overwhelming participation, and incredibly supportive state partners and sponsors. As we speak, we have more than 5,000 plus attendees and 40 plus speakers, including 19 global CXOs, 20 sessions, the Karnataka governments as state partners, and 17 platinum sponsors. Now, to sum it up, top 5 things to highlight for this event. On behalf of the entire NASSCOM ER&D team, I'm grateful to Honorable Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar, the Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Electronics and IT of India, gracing this occasion and celebrating the spirit of innovation with us together. I want to thank our distinguished speakers, range from the best in academia to the brains behind business strategy for some of the leading brands across the globe. The list includes Professor K. Vijayaraghavan, the Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, Paul Steen, CTO, Rolls-Royce, Navin Munjal, Managing Director, Hero Electric, Jeff Immelt, former CEO of GE, and about 12 CTOs and 4 scientists. We are experimenting with innovative formats like power notes apart from roundtables and town halls. We are also deep diving into emerging topics like neurodiversity, where diversity is nurtured not just across genders and skills, but diversity of thoughts to create and enable disruptive innovation. Watch out for a new dimension of discussion this year on the emergence of Indian innovation superclusters and what we can learn from other successful clusters globally, name it as Germany, Israel, European Council, and Canada. This is where the collaborative innovation taps into the collective power of industries, academia, government, and collective capital. There is a lot to look forward to it, right? And what we look forward to most are your questions, your feedback to enrich the conversations. So once again, welcome to the 13th edition of NASSCOM Design and Engineering Summit. I hope you are not going to miss any of these sessions as each one brings unique insight. And before we begin, I want to thank the ER&D Council, the Advisory Council for the summit, including Mr. Dwarka and Gopichand. And of course, this wouldn't have been possible without the continued guidance of Devjani, KSV, and the NASSCOM secretarial team. Let's engineer the next together. Are you ready? Thank you.
Well, we certainly hope that none of you miss out on any of the sessions. Thank you, Karthik, for setting the context of the event and giving us a glimpse of what is in store.